Hi there, it's Gary Kent, and people are asking me, the foreclosure wave, is it coming? All right, welcome back. So here's the topic of this video. Foreclosure wave 2020, or maybe 2021, is it coming? So here's my answer. No, it is not coming, and I'm going to tell you why. And before I tell you though, I want to give you an idea of my experience and where I'm coming from. So I have handled foreclosures in two different waves. In the early 90s, we had a small wave, and you may remember in 2007, 2008, 2009, 2010, a little bit of 2011, we had a lot of foreclosures. I sold in that time about 750 foreclosures for banks, and well, it was actually banks, it was Fannie Mae, all kinds of governmental organizations and other types of organizations like mortgage insurance companies, etc. And what I learned in that time, I'm going to share with you. So the first thing is, this is not 2007. So we don't have the time bomb mortgages where they would be interest only, and then they would recast and then the payment would go up, or other types of loans that would change and suddenly become very hard to afford. So that's not the case. The next thing is, we don't have fog the mirror borrowers. And if you don't know what I mean, in 2004, 2005, 2006, it became so easy to get a loan that we joked if you could fog a mirror, you could get a mortgage. So we do not have that now. And then something else that's different too is we have a high percentage of owners with equity, with a lot of equity in their homes. And that's different from those other years I mentioned, 05, 06, 07, et cetera, where people were getting crazy loans. There was something called a 125% loan, where you could get a loan and you could borrow 25% over the value of your home. So we don't have any of that going on either. Then the next thing is, owners hate foreclosures. Well, that's probably pretty obvious. But did you know that banks hate foreclosures? People will say things like, the bank wants to take my house, the bank wants to foreclose, et cetera, et cetera. That is completely wrong. Banks do not want to foreclose on property. Maybe in the old West days, maybe the guy that owned the bank would want to foreclose and take over somebody's farm. That's not the way it is currently. When banks foreclose, they lose. They lose money. They lose the ability to make other mortgages, which is how they, a big way of how they make their money. So they do not want to foreclose. The next thing is probably not a surprise. The public hates foreclosures. The markets hate foreclosures. And most importantly, the government hates foreclosures for the previous reasons. Because when we have a lot of foreclosures, it affects the market, the public doesn't like it, et cetera, et cetera. So for that reason, we're going to see if we even have foreclosures. And I should have said this at the beginning, but I'm not going to reshoot the video. The reason people think there would be a lot of foreclosures is because of COVID-19, people not being able to pay their mortgages, and also banks putting a temporary hold on mortgage payments. But then at the end, the fear is they're going to say, okay, you owe us 8 months of mortgage payments. That is not going to happen. So the reasons we will not have this, or additional reasons, things that will be done to prevent a foreclosure wave, is owners will want to protect their equity, as opposed to the last foreclosure wave that we had where people had no equity. So there was nothing to protect. So there's that. The next thing, which I mentioned, is there are these forbearance programs going on. And once those end, the banks will add the amount, the missed payments, to the loan balance. So they're not going to say, hey, you missed 8 months of foreclosure payments, we're stopping the forbearance and you need to pay us all the money now. It's going to get added. And then the last thing is, there will be federal assistance if there are problems. The government, you've already seen during the pandemic, they have not sat on their hands. There's been program after program, like it or not, adding to the deficit. Gosh, what is it now? 26, 27 million. That's a whole nother story. But if needed, there will be government programs to prevent a big foreclosure wave. So those are all the reasons why a foreclosure wave is not going to happen. Will there be some Almost certainly. Will there be a wave? Almost positively not. In fact, I'm going to say positively not. All right, so that's your message of the day. If I can help you in any way, buy a property, sell a home, answer a real estate question, maybe you want to refinance. I'm not in that business, but I can refer you to a great lender. Whatever you need, call or text me at 858-457-KENT. And this is Gary Kent of Keller Williams. All right, thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.